Woohoo!
All right.
Greetings and welcome everyone one more time for the weekly Casey and Stacy extravaganza adventure and yeah.
Adventure and yeah.
Casey the yogi master, I'm a Reiki master. We have 100 years of wisdom and knowledge between us, a million years in the background. What else?
Yeah,
What are we talking today? Do you want to open up?
sure. Well, but I put my sweater on inside out, so I'm gonna
Oh, whoops.
so
I've
I'm
never done that.
I'm gonna change my sweater and
You're
put
gonna
it
rearrange that?
put it right side up, the way that it should be. Um, yeah. I was like, "Oh man, my sweater's on inside out." Okay, bueno, much better, much better. Um,
Looking fabulous, Casey.
thanks. Today we are talking about balancing in fall or autumn and balancing the energy, the body, perhaps even balancing the space in your house, right? Balancing just everything. And I think that during my time as I've studied Ayurveda and incorporated into my life, that you find yourself, especially during these season changes, right? We have the autumn equinox or the fall equinox coming up on the 21st, and um, it's just an opportunity for us to not only look in and see what we have harvested or beginning to harvest, whether that is in the garden, in our home space, spiritually, materially, any of that kinds of things. It also gives us an opportunity to begin to balance our bodies, and with the fall equinox falling or happening on a new moon, we can also begin to set our intentions of how we want to, or set our goals of how we want the next 6 to 8 months of our life to go. And I think, right, summer is a very fiery, depending on where you are in the world, it's a very fiery, like, experience. There's a lot of we have more sunlight throughout the day, and as Earth begins to um, move into her resting, there's a transition where she begins to, and this is for humans too, where we begin to get a little bit more air and space as we begin to transition into the next stage of the seasons.
Yeah, autumn kind of like late summer into autumn kind of goes in phase. I mean, if you think about it, summer, each season kind of has its own phases, right? So we're hitting the end of summer and then into autumn, like a true autumn period where the leaves are doing their thing and the temperatures drop. Even if you're in the south, you still kind of shift, some go into a rainy season. Um, except if you're in California, it's still 75 and sunny.
In some parts, yeah.
Yeah, LA. So, oh, you mentioned the 21st and the equinox and then the new moon, and I think we also have a solar eclipse on that day.
Yes. Yeah.
So the 21st is a super whammy day. It's a great day to really would be a really good day to put your intentions out there,
Hmm.
especially it being on a new moon building into the full, like the moon does on every cycle that it does. So definitely some balance in going on in there, shifting gears from Here in the upper Midwest, we're going from, do I need a hoodie? Today was, I'm going to wear a tank top. It was 88 out there, but last night it was freezing cold and humid. So then it's clammy. And like I
Mm,
was saying earlier, we have those clammy day, a couple clammy days and nights in spring and in fall. When we're doing that shift, so we're shifting away from the humidity and into the dry, cold winter, which is just fine with me. I don't have like a favorite season. It used to be summer, but now I kind of appreciate them all, and I really like spring.
mm,
Um, some of the things that, like, I already made chili. I love a good bowl of chili when it starts getting cold, or a nice hot bowl of soup. Coffee always tastes better in the cold. Tea tastes better in the cold. Um, I don't know. I kind of think about practical matters at the end, when you talk about the harvest and stuff. I don't have a garden, but for the people that have gardens, you're definitely reaping what you've sown.
mm.
I kind of think about, like, do I have the right tires on my car for the snow? What's my coolant for heating purposes? Do I have the emergency kit in the car? Because you never know, stuff like that. Um, I bought a bag of apples, some Cosmic Crisp, which are kind of neutral, and they're not sweet, they're not sour, they're kind of in between. Like looking at making some apple bread, um, cinnamon and nutmeg and clove are good spices for this time of the year. Warming things are good for this time of the year. So we're kind of shifting out of, like, food wise, we're shifting out of like salads and sandwiches and wraps and cold. No one, people don't want to heat up their kitchen in the summer,
Yeah,
so, and now we're shifting to, yeah, let's heat up the kitchen.
yeah,
It's getting cooler, so there's that balance there too. Do you want to add to any of that?
yeah. So it is the time of right before we had all of the amenities that we have now. Um, this was the time traditionally where the farmers would be um, begin to start their baking. It would start begin to use the hearth to keep the homes warm in this time frame. And then also, what's quite interesting is that when we talk about baking, most bakers, and I think we've talked about this in the time in the years that we've held these extravaganzas, right? So the seasonal time that we're going into, according to Ayurveda, is what's called the Vata season. So there's a lot of air and space. It's a time where, depending on your belief system, it's a time where the veil, the spiritual veil, is a little bit thinner, which is why we um, have our harvest season in October. And within the scope of Ayurveda, there's also just a daily clock that is that correlates with the elements. And between the hours of 3 and 6 are those Vata hours. So if you're a baker, you generally would be baking, even in the summertime, between the hours of 3 and 6, because those particular hours, regardless of what time zone, what season you're in, are cooler hours. So that allows for the heat to the home to be heated between the hours of 3 and 6. um, well, as we move into this Vata season, you mentioned some really grounding spices, having chilies, or it's soup season, and releasing the more watery vegetables and watery fruits that if you do have a seasonal diet, you would take in the summertime. Um, and I think that's just kind of, it's also kind of cool, even without being into Ayurveda. um, Generally, most people are like, okay, it's, you know, it's pumpkin spice time, or
Yep, yep.
it's that time. And those seasonings that are put into the chili, like the cumin and the coriander and the
Chili
other
powder.
things that are put into it, they're very grounding and really, really good for the digestive system. Um,
Warming.
they are warming. They allow for some healing to take place in the digestive system as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. And it's, it doesn't even depend on if you're doing vegan, vegetarian, beef, chicken. The spices are all going to be very similar. And, you can add whatever you cayenne, crushed red pepper. You could, spice it up however you like, but it is a very grounding, very warming. It's the same with your stews and your broth.
Mm,
And, it doesn't really matter what your diet is because those things are available on any diet.
mm,
And I mean, even a carnivore diet, you can still do beef broth,
mhm,
um, which some choose to do, which is a nice, very warming, it's a very warming, comforting, very grounding sensation. Um, you know, like apple cake, spice cake, pumpkin cake. You got pumpkin pie, apple pie, different, all sorts of different varieties. It's interesting that you talk about like the baking hours being between 3 and 6 p.m., which for me personally, for my Ayurveda, for the way my
in the morning,
body,
3 and 6 a.m.
I'm more of a morning person. Oh, 3 to 6 a.m. Wow,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
Thought you meant PM. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, that's a good time for me to get up and get and do something because that's usually when I go, it's that time of day.
yeah.
I need something to do. But 3 to 6 a.m., I am not getting up
Right, yeah,
to bake apple cake. Sorry. Sorry,
yeah.
Ayurveda. But I get it. And that's 3 to 6 in Chinese, on the Chinese clock. I think that's like thymus spleen or coming out of. Because liver, oh, maybe it's liver. Liver is 2 to 3. What's after liver? The digestive tract.
Mm,
Because and that's fitting too then also with and that is also fitting actually if you think about it, back in the days when you were living in a castle, which is cold, and then you light the hearth in the morning to heat the whole house, right? All right, that makes sense. I thought you meant PM.
yeah.
But my brain is shifting. Wait a minute. She meant AM. Oh yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, so that's and that makes sense too. And I mean, as far as the balance goes between like saying goodbye to summer, like I said earlier, I don't really have like a favorite season. Favorite. I mean, I will say that winter would be last on my list if I had to rank them.
Mm,
Just because it lasts too long. You get the deep freeze up here. Not a fan of the deep freeze for 2 weeks straight. Uh, it doesn't need to be that cold, but the weather gets turns to crap. It just lasts too long,
mm,
but when the summer is ending, I'm actually kind of glad to see the hot humidity go,
mm.
but I'm also okay with the heat. Where was I going with that? Oh, the transition. When you're transitioning out of your seasons, in and out of your seasons. So it's like when people say they don't want to let summer go, I just kind of, yeah, whatever. I don't listen to them. Um, I'm not I'm not gonna try and force the weather to stay summer. And
Mm,
then I'm not gonna allow myself to have like a visceral, petty reaction to something that's out of my control.
mm,
I'm not Berlin out there. It could be. with a wand going, you will stay all summer.
Yeah.
Like why not embrace hoodie weather and put on a sweater? And if you have a fireplace, which I enjoy a good fire, if you have a fireplace, light a fire, like get out back and put the bonfire on, get some chili on the stove or whatever, some broth, you know, what's wrong with getting a little cozy?
Ah,
What's wrong with the smell of cinnamon?
yeah, I love cozy. I love
Yeah.
I love cozy. Cozy's my jam. Um, and I also like just talking about this time of year. This is actually, I think, and I'm like you, I totally I can move through whatever season needs to be moved through with gratitude and grace. However, like just being cozy, we don't wear sweaters very often here. Um, but it is it does get cold in Florida, and I love being able to break into just some nice cozy weather, put on the fake fireplace on the television to hear the crackling,
Yep.
have the bonfires in the backyard, um and just when we walk into the grocery store, you have those cinnamon brooms, or that, and you walk in and everything at this time just gets a little bit more cozy. And because of the way that I am, as far as like my doshas within Ayurveda, human design, all of that jazz, cozy is like my jam. Um, if I could be, if I could spend 8 hours a day just cozied up with blankies and my dog, I would. Um, so anyway, when you
I
said
don't blame
cozy, I'm
you.
like, oh yes. And right. And when we think about that, that's part of the balancing that happens at this time of year. Um, is that we begin to slow down a little bit. We begin to get um into a bit of what I would like to call kind of a nesting phase, of preparing for the next season phase. And even though I'm not a pumpkin spice kind of person, I can appreciate n- that is one of the things that as soon as you begin to see the pumpkin spice ads from whatever, all right, it's cozy time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the pumpkin spice thing. I do enjoy pumpkin pie. I prefer apple. I
Mm,
prefer a cheesecake actually. And you can do all sorts of fun stuff. Get a cheesecake, throw some honey on there, spice it up with some cinnamon and some nutmeg, put some of your favorite warming flavors. You can do the same thing with an apple pie. Um, as far as like desserts go.
mm.
And I enjoy the cozy season just because now it's cozy season. We're coming out of super hot and, tank tops and whatever, bare feet into put clothes on. And
Mm,
then I go from not having pockets in the summer to having pockets in the winter. That was a pocket. Oh, I got pockets now. So that's something else to get. I mean, it is something to get a little excited about. You've got pockets.
yeah.
Um, but it just means, there's nothing wrong with being cozy. And you don't always have to be cozy because I can also get out on a snowmobile in the
Mm,
middle of winter, and get out there and freeze my face off and get super frozen and my nose is running. Because then the fun part is coming home and getting warm and getting
right.
cozy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Throwing some coffee or some tea, maybe, warm up something warm.
Right.
Chili. I mean, what else is there that's you could do like a shepherd's pie, you can do roasts, people get out the crock pot, you can do crock pot meals, um, less salads, more crock pots kind of thing. What else did I write down? I made a couple of notes. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Something else about it too is that we're going from summer, which was vacationing on the beach in our hometown, to winter, traveling for the holidays, getting ramped up for the holidays, and traveling to a different state or location to celebrate on a different beach.
Mm.
People move to the south for the winter. We've got the harvest going on. We're harvesting. It's an abundant time of the year. There's an abundance in the air. Um, yeah, just like preparing. Oh, we were talking feng shui a little bit earlier. It is a good time to like open up your windows and air it out. There is a such thing as fall cleaning,
Mhm.
where you make sure all the dust bunnies and the cobwebs are cleared away. Maybe rearrange your spaces
Mm.
for winter, for
Mhm.
whatever that means. You take the air conditioner out of the window, or you have your venting system serviced because you're going to start blowing heat.
Mhm.
So doing things like that. What else? The car, the home, day and night. You mentioned the day and the night, and
Mhm.
how and then of course we're going to shift to, of course they screw it all up with fall. Let's fall back. Let's fall back like a bunch of retards. What is it that the Native Americans say? You can't cut the blanket off the bottom and sew it to the top and have a bigger blanket. Like, but we think that we're going to shave an hour off here to add it on over there, and it's going to make it better. No, at some point in time, we all have to leave the clocks alone. That's
Mm.
just my 2 cents.
Mm.
Nobody has to agree with me, but I totally disagree with the whole daylight savings thing.
Oh, that's a whole thing. That's
That's
a
a
whole
whole
thing
nother
for another
topic.
day.
But
That's a
we
whole
are
thing for
falling
another day.
back.
Yeah.
We are falling back somewhere. Maybe that we should do that for October, because don't we fall back? Oh, maybe it's November.
I'm not sure.
Well,
I don't
I'll
know.
look it up. I'll look up the fall back, and we can talk about that, because Minnesota had put it into motion that they were going to look at getting rid of it.
Hmm.
But then nothing ever happened, and our governor turned into a meathead, and I don't know what is going on anymore. I
Yeah.
would kind of like for us to revisit that so that we can look at that. I mean, look at Arizona. The Navajos are the only ones that honor daylight savings. The rest of Arizona stays the same time all year round. Those people aren't seeming to have a problem.
Yeah.
I don't see them freaking out, because it's all the same. It's the same.
Right.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's something else. And falling back throws people off, even though you gain an hour of sleep, but you don't, because then you're thrown into the darkness in the morning.
Right.
And then you're
Right.
thrown into the darkness in the evening anyway. But the darkness can be a good thing. And maybe that's something else that we can talk about in the coming months.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
So,
I think that the really we're just about out of time, and I just want
yeah.
to leave whoever's listening in the future with this, that like this time of year is the opportunity to really give yourself permission to slow down, to get into the cozy, and to listen to your body the way, and listening to your body. Maybe you do live in a place where it's hot all year round, and just continue to do the things that you're doing. um, so like you were saying, spices like cumin, coriander, fennel, nutmeg, cinnamon, clove, apple pie season. Can you think of any other spices? I know that cayenne and other heating spices. Is it Barbara
Well,
O'Neill that recommends adding a little pinch of cayenne to every single meal?
Cheyenne's good for blood pressure regulation, and it really helps to keep your blood itself healthy.
Mm.
And it's kind of like turmeric. I mean, there are people that say you could do the black pepper, the turmeric, the cayenne, and the ginger every day. Ginger
Mm.
is probably another good earthy one. Ginger kind of does both the spicy and the sweet. Turmeric's another good spice. You know, turmeric, you could do that every season.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, cinnamon in your coffee is really good at regulating your blood sugar. Like when you have, and it won't break a fast. So if you're fasting, you can put that in your coffee in the morning. It'll help regulate your blood sugar. It helps your pancreas. It helps your upper GI. And it also, um, cinnamon helps, your appetite.
Mm.
It helps curb your appetite because it's regulating your blood sugar.
Right.
And so then you're not so hungry, which I've noticed that big time. Anyone
Mm.
out there wanting to lose weight, throw cinnamon in your coffee.
Yeah.
Um, what else is allspice is another one that's
Yeah.
kind of a warm wintry because it's all coriander was a good one that came up. Um Coriander is kind of a fun spice because it's kind of a background. It's like a salt and pepper. It's like an accentuator. It brings out all the goodness of anything that it's mixed with,
Yeah.
and it has a nice neutral, mild flavor. But yeah, I mean, spice cake, spice bars, you know, get a fire going, get your baking on, get in the
Yeah.
kitchen,
Yeah. Spice it up.
spice it up, man. I mean, life is spicy enough as it is.
Yeah.
Make it a good kind of spice. You know, I went to the coffee shop today and I got something with chocolate in it because if I'm going to pay for a coffee, I'm gonna get chocolate in there. I don't I don't feel the urge to do a pumpkin spice
Mm.
in my coffee. If I want pumpkin, I'll make spice bars with cream cheese frosting.
Mm.
You know, to me that's or I've been looking at like apple cookies or pumpkin cookies, something different,
Yeah.
something easy and different. I mean, there was like puff pastry treats. Get out there, get it spiced up. But those are some really good squash. Squash is another really good autumn, you know, depending on butternut, spaghetti, summer, acorn, throw some brown sugar and some butter on there, some S&P. It's a nice cozy meal.
Yeah.
Here's that word again, cozy.
Cozy.
Anyway, so we're gonna wrap up.
Mm.
Do we know what we're talking about next time?
I think we're going to begin to tap into the holy days a little bit.
Holy days,
The
like
holidays, holy days.
the coming up celebrations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds fun.
All
It will
right.
be. So everyone should be here. Come back because we're talking holidays next time we're on. Or we're not on next week, are we? We're on the week after.
Yeah, next week is I'll touch base with you. I have the yoga
Yeah.
immersion that I'm facilitating next week. So that'll be um I'll be back. We'll be back and I'll reach out to you.
I will be up north the first weekend or second weekend in October.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that we still can't do our thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I mean, we'll check it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. See
Okay.
everyone in a couple weeks. Come on back.
All right.
Take care. Get warm and cozy out there.
Cheers.